Sa Kaugnay Way of Life, tampok ang kwento ng isang sundalong Filipino-American mula sa Zambales na may pusong kaugnay. Tapat na paglilingkod at serbisyo, kanyang ibibida. Tunghayan natin ang kanyang istorya.
Magandang araw, pamilyang Kaugnay. Welcome na naman po sa isang episode ng Kaugnay Way of Life kung saan may isang istorya na naman tayo na tutunghayan na magiging inspirasyon para sa ating pamilyang Kaugnay. Ngayong araw ay maswerte tayo dahil meron tayo international guest. Hindi taga Philippine Army ang guest natin ngayong araw. Lieutenant Colonel Eugene Miranda, sir. Magandang araw po sa inyo.
Magandang araw.
Gusto niyo po bang bumati muna sa ating mga kababayan?
Yes, I am Lieutenant Colonel Eugene Gunweles Miranda, the 25th Infantry Division Public Affairs Officer and spokesperson, and also a Filipino-American soldier in the United States Army.
Sir, you are the Public Affairs Officer of the 25th Infantry Division, right?
I am.
Yes. Sir, many of the Filipino soldiers are wondering, even the civilians inside the Fort Magsaysay, they are wondering, what are you doing here? Before we go to the other discussions, what are you doing here in the Philippines? Why are you here?
So we're here as part of Operation Pathways. It's the U.S. Army's Pacific Forward Engagement Strategy, and the way we do that is participate in Operation Salaknib, Salaknib 1, Balikatan, and then Salaknib 2. So training side by side with Philippine partners and also the allies to be able to help with the Philippine defense.
Oh, so that's the reason why you are here. Again, for our viewers, they are here for Salaknib. So Salaknib is an Ilocano term, right?
Yes, it means shield.
It means shield. Thank you for that, sir. Sir, before we go to the other discussions, you've mentioned that you are a Filipino-American.
I am.
You are a kababayan, correct?
I am kababayan.
How did you become a Filipino, and how were you able to serve in the U.S. Army if you are a Filipino? Can you give us a brief story time regarding that?
Yes, I sure can. So, my mom and dad originally from the Philippines. Ang daddy ko sa Castillo, Zambales. Ang mommy ko sa San Fernando, La Union. They came to the United States in the mid-70s, and then had my brother, myself as a middle child, and my younger sister in the United States. Really part of the American dream, if you will. And as I was growing up, my dad served 29 years in the United States Coast Guard. Pero I didn't want to join the Coast Guard. I got seasick when my dad took me to work with him. So instead, with the GI Joes that I was playing with, I decided to join the Army instead. And following my dad's advice, I pursued a commission in the United States Army. Got an Army ROTC scholarship to Norwich University in Northfield, Vermont, and I got my commission as an infantry officer in 2007. And I was an infantry officer for about 16 years before I became a public affairs officer in 2023.
So you were in the U.S. Your parents were in the U.S. even before you were born, right?
Yes.
They've been in the U.S. for how long?
Oh, they have been there since the 70s. Part of the whole Philippine diaspora, extending all the way to the United States. So living the American dream, and it's a dream that I don't take for granted.
Did you speak Tagalog growing up in your household?
Konti lang.
Konti
Yes,
lang.
I did.
What are the Tagalog terms you remember until now?
Mostly the ones when my mom and dad were inis-inis at me.
Yes.
But I did learn part of that heritage to be able to speak Tagalog and to connect with people. You know, just basic terms like, you know, gutom na ako, kumusta ka na, say po as, you know, a moment of, you know, respect. I do mano po, pero I don't do that all the time because sometimes like my relatives will take offense, you know, kasi it makes them think they're matanda na. So I don't do the mano po. Very selective. I do that one. But,
How about the Ilocano dialect? Do you know or do you still remember?
Very, very few words. And I'll choose not to say the profanity here, but the one that first comes to mind is when, like acknowledging.
When?
Yes, when. But sorry, Mom, I did my best.
So how was it growing up in the U.S.? Did you experience any prejudices since you did not look like an American? How was it like?
I think that's a very common story, more so for my parents, just having immigrated to the United States. While I can't speak on their behalf, I will not doubt that there are a lot of experiences and challenges that everyone has experienced throughout their life. I personally didn't experience those. However, it's one of the drivers to make sure that I just treat everyone with dignity and respect, and then expect the same.
You mentioned that you did not want to follow your dad's path in the U.S. Coast Guard. So what made you decide to join the U.S. Army instead?
So,
Was it like a childhood dream? Like, I'm going to be in the military, but I'm not going to join the Coast Guard. I'm going to join the U.S. Army instead.
I knew I wanted to serve a cause greater than myself, and I saw my dad. I vividly remember consistently every night after dinner, he would be studying for promotion for his career field as a Coast Guard logistician, and also shining his shoes. And then he often told me that serving others is probably the most fulfilling thing that you could do in your life. So I decided maybe because I get seasick, maybe I'd do that as part of the United States Army. And that's what really pursued me to serve the nation. To serve the same way that my dad did, the same way that my uncles on my mom's side did in the Navy, and my uncles on my dad's side in the Army and the Navy. So I'm just, you know, becoming who I am.
So after that, you decided that you're going to serve in the U.S. Army because you followed your dad's advice that it's better to serve others?
Yes. I think one of the most fulfilling things that we can do as humans is to serve others. And then what better way to do that than to serve one's nation, to swear an oath, to defend, you know, the Constitution for principles and values greater than us, especially during a time when the nation calls us to answer that call based on whatever challenges that the world is experiencing. That more often than not, a lot of challenges nowadays aren't borne by one nation, but more alongside others, because the world gets smaller as we navigate challenges.
Was there any time during your service that you thought twice, like, why am I even here? Why am I serving the U.S. Army? Are there any challenges that you encountered that you felt like you were not for the U.S. Army, unlike what you believed when you were still a child?
That's a really good question. I think we all inherently experience that as humans. You know, the inevitable self-doubt creeping in. And the first experience I had of that was when I was in Ranger School. It's a very emotional experience for a lot of infantry officers and anyone going to that leadership school. But since then, I've had a lot of figurative instances where, you know, I would question myself if I'm fit for it, and I am immediately taken back to why I joined, and that is to serve a cause greater than my own, and that it's more about me, and then life is so much more than the individual. And I thank my dad for that.
Sir, I understand that you are married, right? And you're married,
Yes,
right?
I am.
You have two beautiful children?
I have two wonderful daughters, Isla and Amina, out there, and a wonderful wife who has supported me ever since before she said yes, and we've been doing life together ever since, going on our 16th year now.
Really? 16 years of
Yes.
marriage, or just being together?
Being together 16 years, but actually this August, August 10th to be exact, or August 21st to be exact, that we'll have or celebrate our 16th wedding anniversary.
Was there ever a time that she convinced you to resign from the military so you could just be with your kids?
No, and that takes a lot from my wife to be able to be what her nation needs us to be. Ever since that I said yes, this profession tends to be a family business, and it wouldn't have been anything that I would have done or that I had been doing and continue to do would not be possible without her support. And it just reminds me again that we never do things in isolation, and our profession tends to be a family business, and it's a shared sacrifice, shared service and sacrifice.
How about the children? Are they not looking for you every day? Like, do they understand already that their father is in the military?
They do, and the same way that I understood and tried to understand when I was a kid, when my dad would be away for moments at a time when I was a kid. At first, my mom would tell me, and I wouldn't understand until I became an adult and began serving myself, that you could understand and appreciate the value of service and sacrifice, two sides of the same coin. But yeah, again, I thank my mom and dad for teaching me the work ethic and the value of service.
You, for one, grew up with your father not being there all the time. And now you are doing the same with your children. Do you think it's worth it to be far away from your children doing all this service for the nation and not seeing their everyday milestone and not being there for them when they get sick or with their affairs in school? Is it worth it, you think?
That is a very valid question, and I think it's going to be as worth it. The experience is ultimately what we make of it. I like to think about it in terms of what I can and can't control. What I can control is when I'm home, I fully endeavor to be fully present where my feet are, knowing that that time is finite, and I make investments. I invest as much as I can, from taking my daughters to school, being at their school functions, being at home, eating dinner, helping prepare dinner, knowing that when the nation calls for assignments like now, or when I'm training, or when I have to be away, that becomes a withdrawal. And ultimately, the experience is what we make of it. So I like to think about maximizing my time with them where my feet are, so that I can do better to serve my nation when the nation calls.
All right, that's a very good answer. Sir, you are a Ranger, right? U.S. Ranger, one of the most difficult trainings in the U.S. Army. Now, how did you become the public affairs officer? From being a Ranger to being a public affairs officer, what was the journey like?
So it's a fairly unique journey. A lot of professional trajectories are very unique. So I started off as an infantry officer. I went to the normal schooling commensurate with infantry officers, infantry officer basic course, the United States Army Ranger School, which is a leadership school, and arguably the street credibility I needed as a young second lieutenant to be able to take charge of our nation's most precious resource, and that's the soldiers. And then that school taught me a lot about myself in ways that I never would have thought imaginable, when it pushes you beyond your limits of sleep and exertion, and is still being expected to perform and lead soldiers under the most demanding conditions. So yes, I am Ranger qualified, and I also did serve in the United States Army 75th Ranger Regiment. And often the distinction is, if you have a Ranger tab, you're Ranger qualified, but serving in the Ranger Regiment, it is a way of life.
Yes.
So,
but was it your conscious decision? Ikaw ba yung pumili, sir, to be part of the public affairs officer, or was it the command's idea to put you in the POW?
So a lot of it was my conscious decision to continue paying forward the Army's investment in me. So as an infantry officer, at the time, I derived most fulfillment and value in being able to be at the forward edge of performing our nation's mission, that's in close combat and leading soldiers. Later on, as the context changed, and as I evolved, and as the profession evolved, I just saw an opportunity to be able to continue paying it forward in a different way, having lived it, as an infantry officer. Now pay it forward in a manner to where tell the Army story by way of public affairs. So my first experience dates back to me as a Bradley Fellow formerly known as the Army Joint Chiefs of Staff internship. And my first experience of public affairs was in 2015 on the Joint Staff, working for the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff in a very consequential era. And since then, I tended to gravitate back to experiences where I was doing some form of storytelling, just knowing the value of being able to build bridges of public understanding to tell the public what we're doing so that they can understand and appreciate our value to the nation. And that's where I find myself now, is just, living continuing to pay it forward and tell the Army's story and tell the military story so that the public can understand it.
Which do you find more fulfilling, your service in the Ranger or your service now as a public affairs officer?
So I think all of them have their merits. I hesitate to commit to one being more valuable and more fulfilling. A lot of it has to do with what the situation and experience demands of me at the time. And also, and then some, just a little bit more to be able to be with the nation, what my organization, what my family need me to be at that time, space, and purpose.
Sir, as a public affairs officer of the 25th Infantry Division, am I right?
Yes.
Are there innovations that you felt like you delivered or you started in the 25th Infantry Division in a general contribution of telling the Army story to the public?
Yes.
Are there you were doing these things before, they were doing these things before, and then you changed it because you felt like this is more better or this is more appropriate?
So I think change is inherent anytime that someone has the role and responsibility. And I think we're all naturally evolving. And I think I have an obligation to be able to evolve with the organization, the Army, and the world that is always changing, always fluid. I like to think about one of my favorite martial artists when I was a kid, Bruce Lee. His famous mantra is, "Be water, my friend." And I like to apply that to the profession as well, to be able to tell the story. And the Army right now is in a very consequential period where there's a lot of change, and the Army has to meet that change by way of its capabilities and the nation's most precious resource, and that's the soldier. And I'm obligated to be able to tell that story of change right now, from transformation all the way forward here in the Pacific, doing Operation Pathways, operating alongside our allies and partners in one of the most important regions of the U.S. military in the world.
Right. So being a Filipino-American and being in the Philippines right now, how does this contribute to the storytelling that you do right now for Balikatan?
So I think it's very serendipitous, and I don't think words necessarily do justice to it, but I think I'm right where I need to be because of what my organization has asked me to do to serve that calling. And then also ancestrally, with my heritage and who I am, I also think that has equal value to be able to connect with the publics here, to connect with kababayan, and to also inspire others to be what their nation, what their country, what the situation, what their mission needs them to be. And I would hope that me leading by example, that helps others do the same.
How does it feel being in the Philippines? Is this your first time here?
No. The last time I was here, tagal naman, it was 1995, so going on 31 years. And
1995 was the last one. I wasn't even born at that year yet.
I know, it's okay. I am matanda, but it's okay.
You are a little matanda.
Yeah, okay lang.
So the last time that you were here, was it a family visit?
It was a family visit. Unfortunately, at that time, my Lola passed in 1995, so may she rest in peace. And I will be seeing her again for her resting spot, along with my Lolo for the first time in many years. But really staying connected with who I am and where I come from.
Would you say that the Philippines is still a home for you, even if you have not stayed here that long?
Of course, it's where my ancestors started, and I'll always have roots here.
How do you relate to Filipino soldiers being a Filipino-American?
The small mannerisms, like pointing with my mouth, like this, or
Can you show that to the camera?
over there. But if it's farther, you have to go higher like that.
Yeah, what else? Do you have any mannerisms that you can say that you adopted from the Filipino people?
Really food. Food is my favorite one because food connects everyone in ways that they never they never truly realize at times. You know, they say that one of the most effective ways to a person is through their stomach and also to their heart. And I think with all Filipino food, all Filipino food is made with love. It is a ritual. It is a valued part of our heritage, and it's one that I appreciate all the time.
What's your favorite Filipino food?
Oh man, right now is pork adobo and 𝗞𝗥𝗙𝗚. Those are like my top two.
𝗞𝗥𝗙𝗚, that's
Yes.
from Ilocos, right? That's an
Yes.
Ilocano dish.
That is. Hi, Mom. Yeah,
How about your kids? Do they enjoy Filipino food as well?
they do. They do.
Their favorite is?
Their favorite is also adobo, although they're more of the chicken variety now, although my daughters will deny that they grew up loving pork adobo, much like their dad. But it's okay, at least they still like some adobo, be it chicken or whatnot. And they also like lumpia. They also
Lumpia, lumpiang Shanghai?
Yes, lumpiang Shanghai specifically, both my daughters. And bistek Tagalog, my eldest helps me make that. And,
you
and
cook?
chicken tinola. Yes, I do. And I've taught my daughters to cook as well. They help me. Some of them help me chop garlic and onions, and then they iyak, but it's okay because there's always a good outcome in the end.
Have they visited the Philippines yet?
They have not, and they will. They will.
Really
in the
have a
future.
plan?
I have a plan. I have a plan.
Yes. So going back to your role as the Public Affairs Officer of 𝗟𝗛𝗙𝗙𝗢,
Yes.
is there anything that you would like to explain to our Filipino viewers to make them understand more of the mission that you have here in the Philippines? Bakit ba kayo nandito, no?
Yes.
Could you explain that in a layman's terms so that they would understand, especially that we have viewers that are civilian?
Yes.
Could you let them know, because some of them have speculations that the U.S. Army is here, we don't know why they are here, they're probably sinasakop na nila tayo.
Yeah, talaga. Yeah.
Meron bang mga ganong kwento, and how would you like to clarify that right now?
So we're here. The first thing that comes to mind is stronger together. We seldom do things in isolation in the same way we do when we serve our country. And that's why we're here, to train alongside our allies and partners, to be able to build that interoperability because we're stronger together, that we share the same shield, that we defend together, never in isolation. And the same thing goes for Balikatan, being shoulder to shoulder on a much more grander scale outside of the army, in contrast to 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗡, with the other joint and combined forces from many different nations, stronger together, shoulder to shoulder.
Sir, if you are given the chance, how would you promote the Philippines, or how would you describe the Filipino people here to your back to the US?
Yes, I would say
Talking about your experience here as the Public Affairs Officer of 25th ID.
first word that comes to mind is resilient. I think, like any people, any history teaches us how to be resilient, and that's bend, not break. And I think the Philippines being a 70-plus U.S. treaty ally with the United States really shows a lot about that partnership, and then being able to prevail regardless of whatever challenge happens. Again, stronger together.
If there's one thing that you would love going back to the Philippines for, what is it, except for food?
Except for food, I will have to say it's always the people. The people define the very best experiences and situations that we have, and it goes beyond service, and words don't do justice to it. It always comes back to the connections and the people that we have that really make an experience the best that it can be.
Speaking of the Filipino people,
Yes.
they always say that the Filipinos are the most hospitable in the whole world, right?
Facts.
Are you feeling that right now during your stay here for Balikatan or for 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗡𝗏?
I feel it every day.
Really?
And I don't even have to be with someone. I just know that the Philippines is naturally a very welcoming country, and I encourage all to be able to come and visit, if not for work, then for just to experience the rich history, the beautiful landscape, and I have to say, also the food.
Is there one place in the Philippines that you would like to visit for vacation?
Yes, that's my mom and dad's hometown, because I have fond memories of Zambales and also La Union, where my mom is from. Every time that we've come here, I have fond memories of seeing family and having all those memories of being with family every time I come back.
Sir, going back with 𝗟𝗏𝗙𝗚, how long is the duration of this multilateral exercise, and who are the forces involved here?
So 𝗟𝗏𝗙𝗚, this year at least, 𝗟𝗏𝗙𝗚 spans from about April through June, with 𝗟𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗚 being from the beginning to the middle of May. And then the purpose for 𝗟𝗏𝗙𝗚 is rehearsals. Rehearsals is the ongoing theme. And those rehearsals build right into 𝗟𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗚 with a much grander scale with our partners. And then 𝗟𝗏𝗙𝗚 2, which consists of the Joint Pacific Multinational Readiness Center Exportable training exercise, also multilateral, and then operational maneuver going in June. And for 𝗟𝗏𝗙𝗚, it includes our partners from the Philippine Army, Japan, the New Zealand Defense Force, and the Australian Army as well. And then for 𝗟𝗙𝗙𝗙𝗚, I know that there are much of the same nations and also observers with that. And one of the things of note is that Japan is one of the newer members, part of that partnership, and we have seen tremendous commitment and investment from Japan to join the Ironclad Alliance.
Ironclad Alliance.
Yes.
Would you like to describe or would you like to tell us a story about the Ironclad Alliance in layman's terms?
In layman's terms, I'll
Yes.
have to say again, stronger together. Stronger together because we do not do things in isolation. We train together, we share hardships together, so that the more that we invest, train, and sweat now, the less of a sacrifice that we have to have when our nation and when the world calls. And it's all about shared readiness and partnership.
Sir, you've mentioned rehearsals, right?
Yes.
So, what are the things that you exactly do during rehearsals? Are there scenarios that that you exercise? Are there scenarios that the command gives us?
Yes. So a lot of them have to do with the different range of military operations, from planning, preparation, execution, and assessment. Of course, planning is everything, and no plan survives first contact. We participate in planning at many different levels, from the division staff or for the highest echelons down to the lowest levels where they do troop leading procedures.
So the planning involves all the forces present,
Yes.
including the Japan, New Zealand, the Filipinos, and the U.S. Army?
That is correct. We always do things together, and we consolidate a lot of the gains from interoperability. And when I say interoperability, that is human, technical, and procedural. More often than not, whatever challenge that we experience in the human, technical, or procedural domains, one of the first ones that is the most crucial is the human connection. And the strength of that human connection makes all other challenges mitigatable, and then arguably at best, it makes the challenges irrelevant. It helps us prevail, lead through those challenges.
So aside from planning, you also maximize the capabilities,
Yes.
the equipment of
Yes.
both all forces present?
That is correct. And that's exactly what they are, their capabilities. There is no substitute for our shared nation's most precious resource, and that is the one who serves and wears the uniform of the country that they represent. Capabilities are just that. They are just extensions of us. They are tools. But who is manning those tools? It's the humans, the soldier. It's the representative wearing the uniform of their nation.
I understand that there is also this thing called subject matter exchanges.
Yes.
Would you like to describe that or tell us a story about subject matter exchanges and what is it for?
So subject matter expert exchanges are any opportunity of any scale and scope where you share best practices of what, how, and why you do the things that you do with systems, processes, technical procedures. It could be anywhere between like maneuver, sustainment, fires, any kind of warfighting function or what have you, or even at the individual level, how to field craft, small unit tactics in the jungle, to be able to share those best practices so that we're stronger and better next time. 1% better every day is what we call it.
Sir, how is 𝗟𝗏𝗙𝗚 going to be beneficial to the Filipino people?
So I think 𝗟𝗏𝗙𝗚 creates a lot of opportunities, not just for the force, but an opportunity for connection as well. You know, anytime that you have nations converging and training in anywhere in the world, there's a lot of opportunities to build relationships. And those relationships are the ones that help us through conflicts. Because again, we cannot live in isolation anymore. And when you have relationships and friends, it makes those challenges a lot more bearable to navigate.
Is there any reason for our kababayans to worry about the exercise? Is it gonna harm them, any of them?
No. But again, the planning for 𝗟𝗛𝗙𝗙𝗚𝗡𝗙 are very deliberate and in-depth planning that spans throughout the year. There's coordination at many different levels to make sure that any risk is accounted for and that we have full buy-in from all local barangays and from at the grassroots level.
Sir, as the Public Affairs Officer of the U.S. Army, can you assure our kababayans that the 𝗟𝗏𝗡 and the reason that you are here with all these exercises are purely in good intention and pure benefits to our Filipino people? Could you assure that to us?
Of course, again, stronger together. Stronger together because today's challenges are seldom approached alone. And really the purpose of 𝗟𝗏𝗡 is to show just that ironclad alliance, because we are stronger together and that anything done in isolation is much harder and the least preferred method of resolving issues.
All right, thank you, sir. We appreciate that you are explaining that in layman's terms so that every kababayan who would be watching this episode would understand what 𝗟𝗏𝗡 is.
Yes.
So I would like now to proceed with our fast talk. You're familiar with fast talk, right?
I'm not, but let's do it.
All right, I'm gonna give you options and then you just answer me with one.
I love options. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
first question, balot or barbecue?
Barbecue.
Barbecue. Bakit nakatikim ka na ba ng balot, sir?
Yes, but I prefer barbecue. Barbecue is my comfort food.
Dahil
especially in the
dyan,
South.
mamaya, sir, kakain tayo ng balot.
Okay, let's do it.
Kanin o burger?
Kanin all the way.
Snow or summer?
Snow,
Dagat o bundok?
bundok,
Aso o pusa?
pusa,
Pinakbet o adobo?
adobo all the way.
Adobo all the way. Training or actual mission?
It depends.
Kape o energy drink?
Kape all the way.
Field mission or office work?
It depends.
It depends. Public affairs or infantry?
I'd have to say all of them because they all have equal value.
Message for your wife and your 2 daughters.
Babe, I love you. I miss you. I'll be home soon. And then to Isla and Amina, I will be home soon. And the only way to get through this anytime Daddy's away is just help each other. Remember, stronger together.
Do you have a pasalubong for them already from the
All
Philippines?
the time. I always get pasalubong. Every time where I am, I always bring back pasalubong. Remember, it's always about the investments, knowing that I'm making withdrawals anytime that I'm away.
Any message for your 25th Infantry Division troops, sir?
Stay Tropic Lightning, get 1% better every day, and remember who you represent. We are America's Pacific Division, and you guys gals are doing that just fine here. Congrats on completing 𝗟𝗚𝗙𝗙𝗙. Get ready to pivot to the next chapter that is operational maneuver. I know y'all will do good. And then for Major General 𝗟𝗏𝗙𝗙𝗙 in the 25th Infantry Division, thank you very much for your leadership and our shared service to be able to tell our story to our partners in the Philippines and to the world.
All right, sir, before we end, do you have any message for the 7th Infantry Division and the Kaugnay family?
Yes, Major General Pasamonte and the 7th Infantry Kaugnay Division, thank you very much for your leadership, hospitality, and then shared commitment to train alongside us. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat for welcoming me into your Kaugnay Division. Again, the experience has been so valuable to be able to build these relationships and tell our story together. Tell our story in a way that we never would have thought possible. And again, anytime that we tell our story, it cannot be done alone and in isolation. We got to do it together, stronger together.
Lastly, sir, message for our Filipino kababayans.
Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat for having me here and for being able to share the experiences ranging from food to the beauty and the heritage and the history of the country of the Philippines.
Once again, Lieutenant Colonel Miranda, sir, it has been an honor to be seated with you in this episode of Kaugnay Way of Life. Sigurado ako, sir, na marami kang na-inspire na Filipino-Americans, and maraming salamat for explaining to us kung ano ba yung salaknib and for telling us the story of your life. Maraming salamat once again, sir.
Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, sir.
Again, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Eugene Ganuelas Miranda, and this is my Kaugnay Way of Life.
Ang dugong Pinoy sa admandalhin ng panahon ay mananaig pa rin sa pamilya, sa kultura, at sa napiling propesyon. Ako po, si Shannon Dean Amigos. At ito, ang Kaugnay Way of Life.